Rays, lines, and angles, unlike points, have a direction. So points, remember, just represent a location, but rays, lines, and angles all have a direction. They point somewhere. So we're starting with a ray. A ray consists of all the points beginning at an end point and extending infinitely in the direction of another point. What that means is if I have a point here, I'm going to actually skip down here because they've given me an example. So it says I'm supposed to draw ray AB. So ray AB would mean it starts at A, and here's point B. The difference between a ray and a line segment is it doesn't stop at B. It goes through B. Okay, that's what it means that it extends infinitely in the direction of another point. So this ray is extending infinitely in the direction of B. All right, so it's important to note how it's labeled. So ray AB, pay attention to where this arrow is. It says that its endpoint is at A and then it goes through B. But BA has its endpoint at B, so it's the opposite. So for ray BA, it would look more like this. Here's B, here's point A, and it's going this direction. So its endpoint is B because that was, if you'll notice, there's a little arrow here, and the arrow is what it goes through. This end that doesn't have anything on it, this end right here, wherever that is, that's underneath, that's above B, so that's where it starts. Now, a line has no width and extends infinitely far in both directions. So a line is just what you're used to seeing. It's a line. It goes on forever and ever and ever. So a segment stops and has a stopping and a starting. A ray has a starting point, and a line just goes on forever. So when you name a line segment versus naming a ray, a line segment versus naming a line, it doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter. The order of the letters. The order of letters doesn't matter. So this line here, if it were to go through points A and B, I could call it line AB, or I could call it line BA. Either way, it does not matter. So the deal with lines and rays is that they're infinitely thin, and they extend infinitely far in one or two directions. So we've learned 3 things so far. Not necessarily in this lesson, but in total. We've learned what a ray is. I'm going to write on this line up here. So a ray. That means we write it like this, AB, with one arrow, and it would look like this. A, B. We've learned about lines. Lines we would label like this with 2 arrows, and it would go on forever in both directions. And then the last thing we've learned about is a line segment. A line segment, we would say it's AB, and we're just going to draw a short line, no arrows, and it's going to have starting points of A and B. That's the 3 different things we've learned about lines. The other thing we're going to talk about is angles. And an angle consists of 2 rays called sides with a common endpoint called the vertex. An angle looks like this. So it has a ray. I'm going to color my rays in blue. So it has 2 rays. And then the vertex is this point here that they share in common. The symbol used at the beginning of an angle's name is this little symbol. You've probably seen it before. Followed by one of 3 things. It's either going to call it 3 letters, where the middle letter is the angle's vertex, 1 letter, which is the vertex, or 1 number. So to give you an idea of what this is talking about, I'm going to draw the first one in pink. So we're going to call this angle CDE. So that means that it's got angle D as the vertex. Point D is the vertex. Points C and E are on the rays. So it would look like this. I'm going to draw the second one, angle J, in blue. And the only point that's labeled this time is the vertex. And the last one I'm going to draw in black, angle 2. And this would be 2 in the middle there. If you have what's called a straight angle is made from 2 rays and it looks like this. Okay? And when you look at that, if you look at those 2 rays put together, it makes a line. It's really all it makes. So a straight angle makes a line, and that also means that it has 180 degrees. A zero angle, which is also made from 2 rays, looks like this, where you have 2 rays on top of each other. And it makes a ray. Really, it's just one ray. Okay? So a straight angle has 180 degrees. This thing right here is 180 degrees. It's made from 2 rays that are side by side. A zero angle is made from 2 rays on top of each other. And really, it's just a zero angle. It's 0 degrees, because there's no angle in between them since they're laying on top of each other. All right, so we're supposed to, for 1 through 3, we're supposed to name the ray that's shown in the picture. So remember, the important thing with the ray is at the end point. So this is ray XY. And what's important is how we write it and how we draw it. Okay? So we put no arrow at this end by X. We don't do that because it doesn't have an arrow there. It has the end point.
Upstairs.
Number 3, the end point is Q, and it goes through R, so we're going to label it like this, QR. Number 5, it says give all possible names for the angles shown in the picture. So I could call this angle LMN. I could also call it angle NML, or I could just call it angle M. Any of those 3 would be considered correct. Number 7 and 8 are both lines, and so if I'm going to name a line, it does not matter if it is line LA or if it is line AL. The order doesn't matter, because notice there's arrows at both ends. Remember, a straight angle is the same thing as a line, and it has 180 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and answer 10. A zero angle is the same thing as a ray, and it is 0 degrees.